leaders from Central you have seen with your own eyes. You have now seen with your own eyes. This is another chance. Kalonzo Musyoka, you are not yet qualified to contest as the president 2027. Stick to Azimio until 2022 counts. If we ask you today why Raila is not the president, you will not tell us. And if you have an answer why he's not, that is the day we shall start seeing you as a qualified president. But for now, don't repeat what happened in 2007, because again, we are having to tell Kenyans as a qualified Kenyan that Kenya is a failed state. When you see a government start using uncouth tactics of instilling fear to its own citizens, and in the midst of the act, they turn around to look like they're either sympathetic or rather considerate, those are uncouth tactics of a failed state. When they tell you they're going to raise the prices of fuel, yet they know that the current prices are hurting the economy. And then tomorrow they wake up that now they have considered not to, without any due explanation why they have to and why they did. That means that we have a state that is totally collapsed. When you're mama mboga, boda rider, ule jamaa mkokoteni, and you go to the market and purchase a single tomato for 30 shillings. When you lose your identity card and you are now asked to pay not less than 1,000 shillings. When you are a student who just finished your secondary level and you are now turning 18 without any job, you are now asked to pay in order to be a Kenyan citizen. That is a character of a failed state. And today, without fear of contradiction, we want Mr. Mambo Matatu to know that any time from now and 2026, 2027 elections will not be there. We shall not wait for post-election. This time round, it is going to be a pre-election anti-government protest until 2022 counts. 5 times in a row, Kenyans wake up early in the morning to exercise the democratic right to have a government that has a president that has been elected through popular initiative. But at the end of the day, we are forced by an imposter government. Whatever it is that you're seeing today are shockwaves of a government that has been imposed to Kenyans. We don't have our 3 arms of government functioning. Whether it is the judiciary, you are all aware where it started when it was muscled to conspire with the Electoral Commission to bring in a rogue president. Whether it is the parliament, you are aware that Azimio had the majority, but it was twisted, and the minority became the majority, and the majority became the minority. The executive have nothing to do, they're just in those offices earning salaries for no reason. Because we have one man running everything in government. And in fact, we even accuse him of blasphemy. Today there is no El Nino. Tomorrow there is El Nino. Tomorrow there is no El Nino. Who is he to decide when it is going to rain or not? Therefore, I repeat, without fear of contradiction again, that before 2027, this time round, there will be no election. It will be pre-election anti-government protests. Nyanza sio Kenya. Mombasa sio Kenya. Western sio Kenya. Wapi tena? All these regions, even if there was an election today, William Samoei Ruto, nobody will elect you as president. And some of you are hearing me. If you think this is impossible, you will remember in 2017 when Nyanza said there will be no election, and they made sure they made a history against all the government resources, and the elections were never held in Luo Nyanza region. And therefore, what we are saying, if you are listening, clench your fists and type, enough is enough. Clench your fists and type, Zakayo ashuke chini. Clench your fists and say, no retreat, no surrender. Where is the future of Kenya? If we continue to sit and see some hooligans, rogue leaders of that lack moral ethics, we are running a government that abducts its own citizens. Those are signs and indications of a failed state. Fear not, neither are we going to run away. We are better than those, even the dead are better than us. Because you wake up in the morning, you can't pay your rent, you can't even afford to buy food for your children. You can't pay school fees. You cannot manage the basic needs. So, we might be calm. We might be calm. But that is not our weakness. We are just lenient, but do not confuse it for a weakness. We are just calm. But sometimes we are calm so that we can live to fight another war. And that is why we are saying and declaring, we have tried our level best to negotiate with you. Because the Constitution says that in the spirit of being a Kenyan, handshake is inevitable. After our election, all Kenyans should be one. But irrespective of all attempts to bring all of us in one table, we are still seeing you hullabaloo with this delicate situation. Raila Odinga, if by any chance you are listening, stop negotiating with these Brukenges. They don't have ears. This war is against us. We are the ones who are hurting. Thank you very much for representing us. What we want you to know is that you are talking to stones who don't have feelings. They have killed enough of us, but we will not surrender. They have the Americans. Look for people to back you up. Even Russia is there. China is there. What are you waiting for? Because we know this is a war between US and Russia. That is why we have Biden and Putin. That is why we have Ukraine versus Russia. And today we have Israel versus the Palestinians. And the same is a replicate in what is happening in Africa today. That is what is happening. They fear that Africa will turn against them. Go to Russia. What are you waiting for? Why do they always have backup and you don't have? 2027, there is no negotiation. 2027 is a serious game. 41 tribes against one.